Welcome to this year's Oscar Best Picture movie episode rundown. Woo! We're going to go through all of the Oscar movies that are up for Best Picture. We're going to talk about each of them. We've both watched all of them, either for the podcast or in our own time.
Yes.
And so we're going to discuss them. We're going to rank them, and I think maybe say like what our personal favorites were, and then I think we're going to predict what is going to win this year.
Just a classic, you may have heard of this sort of thing before. Just a little classic prediction stuff,
Yeah, that's right.
We just want to talk. Also, we saw a lot of movies for the podcast.
Yes.
But there's a lot we saw on our own because sometimes you just watch movies.
We wanted to see them.
Yeah.
We wanted to actually see the whole movie.
We wanted to see these movies, and we didn't even know they're going to be nominated for Best Picture. Like, who could imagine Barbie getting nominated for Best Picture?
Exactly.
Right? In fact, a lot of people didn't think it would be nominated for Best Picture.
That's true.
Because
third movie shouldn't have been nominated for Best Picture, like Maestro.
Yeah, well.
Or we saw Holdovers. Well, I didn't think Holdovers was going to be nominated for
I didn't
Best
think so
Picture.
either.
I knew it was good, but, I wasn't expecting it.
Legitimately today, someone posted, like, I know you are posting, for those who don't know, Mike posts on his own social media pictures of every single custom-made posters of every single Oscar movie.
Yeah.
Someone else did that, but they did like their drawings of little like Oscar shapes, like shapes of Oscars, and they did every one of like a theme of whatever the movie was. And I could not figure out what the fuck the Holdovers one was because I forgot it was that nominated. And I kept looking at it, and I was like, there's a guy with like he's in like a forest. He's got like a cap on. I don't remember anything being that snowy. And it was like, oh yeah. Also, I watched it during Christmas, so like I feel like it was a different time.
Definitely, yeah. I guess we should start with Holdovers. I feel like that was one we saw. I saw that one, and I saw it in like October, November of last year. And I knew I wanted to see it, but it just wasn't like I was like, this movie like looks charming and cute. I'm sure it'll be fine. And like I think it's the movie of these Best Picture nomination movies I've seen the most. I think I've seen this movie like 5 or 6 times at this point.
You were recommending it, and I was like, I've never heard of this. I feel like no one heard of it, and then suddenly everyone started to hear a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And it's really good. I loved it. It's definitely going to be a movie I want to watch for Christmas every year.
I think that's the thing is out of all these movies, that's probably the only one I'm probably going to like continually watch.
Yeah.
Like as a ritual, which I think is it's hard because you don't really think of Christmas movies ever as Oscar movies. You know? Like I can't imagine Muppet Christmas movie being in the Oscars. It's nuts.
No, exactly.
Even though it's a fantastic movie.
It is a great movie. And this one's good too. I think it's like if any other year or like any other decade, a movie like this would come out, it would be like the norm, right? It's like, we have like this human drama little film, people are gonna go watch it, it's gonna be great. But the fact that like it's surrounded by other movies, like it reminds me of like Licorice Pizza. When Licorice Pizza came out and was up for Best Picture, it was like, this is just a good movie. Like this isn't like the best movie of the year. It's just like a fun, little film that you could watch and enjoy. Whereas like Holdovers is the same, but like this is in the same league as like Zone of Interest, Oppenheimer, Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon. It's like one of these things is not like the other. You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying it's bad. I was
just gonna say I feel like this movie does a lot more than I would say even Licorice Pizza does. I feel.
Yeah.
I'm someone who's not seen Licorice Pizza, but I feel like
as someone who has seen Licorice Pizza,
I feel like you would even agree. I feel like
the
kind of consensus I heard from Licorice Pizza is it's a cool vibe movie.
Yeah.
Well, this is like a vibe movie, but also is like talking about basically the standards of masculinity and what it means to be smart in some ways and use that intelligence to help other people as opposed to putting them down. I think there's quite a few lessons from that. And all 3 actors are amazing in it.
They are
fantastic.
Oh my god, yeah. Divine Joy, I believe her name is. Oh my god, just incredible as Mary. Everybody in this movie is fantastic. It's got a very small cast, which is also helpful.
It's just like it also just fits a vibe of a movie you don't really get very often.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of indie movies probably do this a lot more, and obviously this is a smaller budget movie. It's Paul Giamatti's not jumping out of a helicopter or anything.
This isn't Big Fat Liar.
No.
Turning blue.
No, it's nothing big, but it just evokes a feeling. And there's just not a lot of good Christmas movies, and I think this movie perfectly captures kind of the melancholy that comes around Christmas. Even if, like me, I love Christmas. It's probably my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
But there is sort of a sadness to it, right?
Definitely.
I feel like if anything, Christmas marks the passage of time, and every Christmas is like an important kind of event. Like I feel like more than any other holiday, I could recall like past Christmases that happened and like the events that happened. Mostly because there's so many different family events.
Yes. Well, that's sort of what this movie's about, right?
Exactly.
It's about being around people that you care about and love, and it's like in this movie you get 3 people who like don't really get along all that well. And so
Yeah.
it's like cool to see them like gain, appreciation for the other and grow towards each other basically and improve themselves out of the love and respect of other people.
Exactly.
It's a great little film.
It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, you should fucking go see it.
Absolutely.
That's all I gotta say. That's all I
Watch
gotta
it
say.
twice. It's really fun.
Watch it. Yes, watch it twice. Watch it more than once. I still got to get on that. I only watched it once.
Yeah, it's really, really good. All right, so next up on my list here is American Fiction. We did see that one for the podcast.
We did talk about that movie.
Already talked about it, so we
Yeah.
should just move
I mean,
on.
some people might be like, I don't want to listen to that shit. I just want to get a little quick hit.
Okay, fair. I didn't like it all that much.
Mike didn't like it that much. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I definitely, we are probably going to rank these at the end, right?
Yeah,
So
we're gonna rank them.
I still think this is on the lower end of the pack.
I agree with
enjoyed
you.
this. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun, but
Yeah.
also that was kind of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of it. It felt like it was trying to say a really crazy thing, but it's
Didn't
just,
really say anything.
it says it, and it's like, yeah, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
It feels like it's more for the Oscars so white type of thing. And I
Yeah.
feel like they only picked this because it kind of like talks against that and like, trust us. Look over there. We're trying to pat against how Hollywood stories with black stories and things like that.
I feel like the trailer definitely, and we talked about this a bit in the podcast, but yeah, the trailer's definitely like advertising a type of movie that I don't think this movie winds up actually like cashing the checks that were written. But I feel like if you really liked the trailers and you want to see a comedy that does what I think the trailers are trying to do, watch Don't Be a Menace. Like, well, Drinking Juice in the Hood. I feel like that movie does a way better job of getting across this idea.
I think they're definitely two different styles of humor.
Yeah,
Like,
that's very
some
true.
people
That's
may
very
look
true.
at that and be like, "Oh, look, a sophisticated type of movie with biting commentary," and then you got
So
fucking
dry.
weird ass. Don't be a menace.
All right, so next one, Zone of Interest. We
Zone of
saw this one
Interest.
together.
We did. We made a little date.
We did on a Tuesday. We went to go see this movie like after work. We wanted to see it.
That's usually when I hang out with my girlfriend on Tuesday, and I was like,
Same.
"Babe, listen, listen. I dedicate this day to you, but today it's Zone of Interest Day."
We wanted to see this movie for the longest time.
yeah.
We knew we wanted to see it, and like our partners didn't want to see it.
I think I told you during Christmas I wanted to see it.
Yeah, and I was so excited you told me because I figured I'd watch it alone. So yeah,
Maybe you should.
So yeah, we saw the movie on a Tuesday together, and then the movie ends, and we were both just like, well, what do we do now? Like, we talked about the movie, like we hung out
Obviously,
for
yeah.
another like 30 minutes or whatever, and like grabbed something to eat and to drink or whatever. But it was like, it really is like, this is not the way to start your hangout. Like,
No.
we really should have done a bit of like preliminary like comfort, just like hanging out.
I think we know each other enough, though. I think it was fine.
Oh, totally,
but for like
totally.
other
This
people,
is a bad first date movie.
Yeah, absolutely bad first date movie. But yeah, the movie was crazy.
I loved it.
It was definitely. I wrote this in my Letterboxd review.
Ooh,
Follow me
yeah,
on
let's read
Letterboxd.
our Letterboxd
Let's read all that.
reviews.
No, I'm not gonna read my Letterboxd.
Oh,
review.
okay, all right.
But I'm gonna
Let's pull mine
summarize
up.
it and basically just say, it's the scariest PG-13 movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it does the thing that horror movies need to learn. I feel like a lot of movies don't do this, but recent horror movies I feel like understand this a little bit more. But like,
Yeah.
don't show anything, just imply it.
Yes.
Just imply it with sound.
Yeah.
Which this movie has an amazing score. Like, this movie deserves every
Sound
with fucking sound
editing.
editing, sound mixing, both those
Yeah.
things. Even though we don't
It's
don't quite
gonna
understand
win.
them.
It has to win.
There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
And then maybe just because it has the most of that, but
Probably, but in this case, it works.
it works.
Yeah.
You're sitting here following.
Should we
this,
explain what this movie's about for people? Who haven't
probably
seen it?
some people might not know what it is.
So it takes place during the Holocaust. It takes place in a home that is right next to Auschwitz. It's based on like a true guy who basically
Haas.
who basically ran Auschwitz and like built all the fucking like chimneys and shit like that. And basically, it's following him and his family living right next to it. And their day-to-day life of just like living next to hell, essentially a hell that they are creating and perpetrating and like maintaining, basically.
Yep.
And you never really see the other side of the wall. You hear things.
No.
You see shit that's over the wall, and sometimes you also see like the prisoners and stuff. Helping them. Like there's one horrifying part where like you just see everyone laughing inside, and then one of the prisoners outside just cleaning boots and shit.
Yeah.
But like you really don't see a whole lot, and you never really see any violence like outright.
I don't think those were prisoners. I think they were just people in the village that they're like, "You're okay. You have a job."
Not them. I'm talking about the guy that was wearing like the there were them. There's them as well. But then you also see
the
guy that shows up wearing, the striped clothing.
Yeah.
Clearly a prisoner.
Yeah.
It's horrific. It's so good. It's honestly like we're already like starting to talk about our rankings. This is super high up for me. I'll probably never see it again, or if I do, it will be down the line. But oh my God, this movie made such a massive impression on me. Like,
I think it's really good. I do think at some points it suffers a little bit from pacing issues in some points, but it definitely is very art house in terms of the fact like the beginning of the movie is just like black.
Yeah,
it's just black, and then 3
for like
minutes.
a minute or
It's
something.
like 3 minutes. I feel maybe it just felt like 3 minutes.
It felt the movie literally opens. You just hear like music.
It's sound.
Yeah,
it's some sort of experimental sound. It's when your buddy comes over, and is like, "Hey, I've been working on something sick," and it's just you're like, "Oh man, you sure got into that DAW and really messed some settings up." But it is haunting, because I think we really benefited from watching this in the theater because
100%.
The sound system was ridiculous, and there were some times where literally all it was bass, and that was horrifying enough.
Yeah, like the opening you're talking about, it's literally, and if you haven't seen the movie, like be warned, because I remember we were watching this movie in the theater, pitch black, and you just hear this like noise, this music, the sound, and I was like, something broke. Like this movie,
really?
I thought like something broke. I was like, the movie's not working.
No.
Like something happened.
It was art, baby.
It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
It was so, and it just leaves you in this darkness.
I think it just this already kind of like unsettles you to like. It feels almost like a normal life, and I think you can, in some ways, you can relate to like kind of the corporate structure of just like, oh man, doesn't it suck to like try to get your progress, kind of halted by those corporate overlords, or you're being transferred? That fucking sucks, bro. And it's just like. Yeah, I can relate to that. That sucks. And you're like, wait a second, I can't feel bad for these fuckers.
Yeah.
They're literally corporatizing like probably one of the most recent mass horrific events. In history,
in human history.
Yeah.
And these aren't just like normal people who got caught up. Like these are people who are actively like spinning the wheels.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, I happen to live here, which is kind of what I thought it would be, which also was kind of interesting. But it is literally like the guy in charge of it all. And the ending of the movie, mwah.
Oh. Yes.
At first I was like,
not gonna
spoil it, but at first I was like, I don't know what we're doing, and then I was like,
the final moment in this movie, holy shit! Like honestly, that's what like seals the deal for me. Of like, this is one of the greatest movies. Like I liked Oppenheimer a lot. We'll get to talking about that, but I feel like Zone of Interest, although I kind of agree with you as far as pacing goes, just the way it leaves you is just like absolutely
it's just such
gut punch.
It's just such a unique movie.
It really
There's just
is.
like really on the list of movies I see, I'm like, yeah, right. I've seen movies like all of these.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen Maestro. But I don't think I've seen a movie like this done before. And it's also kind of wild to be like, hey, I feel like the thing about a Holocaust movie is like we've got all the good ones already.
Yeah.
So it's wild to even have someone try to attempt to be like, we're gonna try something different, because it's like I kind of get it, right? You know, you can go see Schindler's List and
Son of Saul's another really good one.
Yeah,
it came out a couple years ago. It's an incredible.
I didn't realize
film.
that was that recent.
It came out, I want to say maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. So it's not like super recent.
Yeah,
but it is really fucking good. I saw that one in the theater as well. Really, really great. And to your point as well, like the idea of like what the viewpoint is, because like you see like Schindler's List, obviously that's from the like perspective of a person who is running a concentration camp, but like wants desperately to like save lives and do the best that he can, basically. But like this is just from the perspective of like evil people. Like there's you know what I mean?
Which is weird, because usually I'm kind of like, I hate seeing shit with like, oh, I'm a serial killer and here's my fucking kill and shit. Like that's really boring to me. But I think what, not even boring, but just kind of gross. And like I think what kind of changes this is it's just like, this isn't anything weirder than what you're doing in most people's daily lives. Like they're just existing in a kind of a similar format, just trying to provide for their family, etc. But it's horrific. You know, they're just like, I'm going to do literally the worst thing imaginable just to provide. And I'm going to be okay with it. And I'm actually going to be happy for it. And all I'm going to do is think about how good of a job I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like you could just see how people's mind can be twisted into like just thinking that this is okay. You know?
In my Letterboxd review, I wrote, this movie does a good job of showing the banality of evil while never showing evil being banal. Like that's how I feel like this movie works really well. It's like you do see the day in and day out, but like it would be so easy for this movie to fall into the traps of like, oh well, you know, these are just like normal people, you know, like really sympathizing with them. But the way it's shot, the way the music is working, like the way it works, it's like you never once feel like these are like just like people
No.
who like this has happened to, but at the same time it also makes you feel like this could absolutely happen to like you or friends that you know.
It feels like going to your friend's house, your rich friend's house,
yeah.
and their family fucking sucks
Yeah,
and they do bad things, but you're like, I guess I'll just hang out here for a bit. I kind of want to go home, like really badly.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of uncomfortable. But I gotta be here because someone invited me, and I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, I agree with you. Great film. Loved it a lot.
Recommend it.
Next up on the list, Barbie.
What a whiplash.
I know.
What a whiplash.
It was fun.
I saw Barbie in D-Box. Let me tell you.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, I told you this.
Did you?
Let me tell you, I added nothing.
I didn't.
It was I feel like you gotta watch really stupid movies in D-Box. You can't watch movies that actually are like, hey, here's a moment where you're actually probably gonna feel multiple emotional gut punches.
Yeah.
While also having the fucking back of the seat thump you in the back. It was a lot.
Christ. What movie did we see in D-Box together? I can't even remember.
Was it one of the Godzilla? No, it was Avengers 2.
That's right. It was
a terrible
Age of
movie.
Ultron.
Yeah,
Terrible film.
awful movie.
night. No, great night because I got to hang out with you.
That's
but
true.
Other than that,
And
bad.
we gotta hang out in D-Box.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you saw it in D-Box. Did your partner see it in D-Box?
Yeah, she thought it was fun, but then she was like, "This is a lot. This is like at the beginning it was kind of fun because it was like, oh, we're having a cool dance party, and you get to see like the seat swing with the camera, and it's like cool, but then it just kind of got weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
didn't really add too much.
didn't add too much. I should have just been with a straight action movie. I just wanted to know what they would do.
Yeah.
Besides that, the movie's really good.
It is really good.
I really like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's wild that I saw a TikTok trend of girls showing this to like their guy friends and them being bored out of their mind. I'm like, how can you be bored during this movie? How?
I hate this shit. I've seen so many people, and it's really aggravating. I've seen a lot of men go like, this movie just isn't for me, you know? Like, yeah, you know, it's fine, but it just wasn't for me. And I'm like, this is a movie about humans beings. Like, this is a movie about men and women. Like, it's not, what do you mean it's not for you?
If anything, it's really for men.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a whole scene, one of the parts, in fact, maybe the Oscars overshadowed this.
Yeah.
There's a whole scene, you know, the whole dance number with fucking like a man just trying to reckon with himself.
Yeah,
and see,
exactly.
You know, that he's okay, you know, and talking about masculinity, always trying to push men to do and be who and provide and blah blah blah, and it's just like you can just exist.
It's crazy to me that a man can watch the movie and go, like, "Oh, this is fucking boring. Who is this? Who is this? This is not for me." And I'm just like, "What are you talking about? This isn't for you." You're right. There's literally half of the movies Ken, you know, dealing with dealing with masculinity, his feelings towards like, you know, not feeling enough, you know, for women or whatever.
Also Margot Robbie's on the screen. She's hot as hell. Like, come on, guys. She's right there.
Yeah.
Even if you're a fucking bro dude, like, wow, pretty lady, come on.
I know. I that's what's so, it's weird to me. Yeah. It almost feels like, I don't know. It almost feels like, I don't know. I don't want to say like people are faking it, but it's like I also watched the movie, really enjoyed it.
But it comes down to like, you know, when you get dragged to a movie, you're not really wanting to watch it. People you can just shut off or be like, my disposition to this is not to be open, and I feel like that happens with a lot of men because of the masculinity issues
that the movie's actually talking about. Yeah, exactly.
You know, says, you know, the patriarchy a couple times, and they're like, "Oh, this might be me."
That's so funny to me too. Yeah, that whole
Ben
argument.
Shapiro was so sad. You know,
it's like, can you believe they actually talk of the patriarchy? I'm like, why wouldn't they? Like, it's weird. It's like these people who are like, oh, fucking trigger words, and it's like they mention patriarchy in a movie and they flip the fuck out. You know? No, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad it was such a hit. Like,
yeah, same.
I'm glad it's such a hit, but the problem is that whatever sequel they're gonna make is just not gonna be, you know, the same level. But like, this is so much more of a bigger deal of a movie. I feel like I'm very happy that this kind of like, you can have a branded movie like this actually with, you know, in the hands of a capable director and a capable writer, and they could actually like go wild with it and take swings. Like, I think you can really make like big budget, goofy ass movies really say something and have an emotional impact. And it's just like, that just is hard to find in something that's literally just set up now to make, you know, the next movie happen, right?
It reminds me a lot of like the Lego movie, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, this movie just is obviously a commercial for Legos, right? but it's like it's doing something with it. You
Yes.
know, it's having fun. It's saying something a bit deeper than, you know. It's not just about the toy. And also, Will Ferrell's in it, and he plays a guy that runs the board. So.
Yeah, that's true. Playing an adult, he's in every toy movie now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, maybe we'll see what they can do with Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I guess
That's
Whatever
that's the
next
biggest
screenplay-
cynical like swing of this movie too. Is like now that this movie is a massive success, they're just gonna milk the idea of like toys. People want to see movies
People want
about
to see
toys.
nostalgia, and it's just like, do you not understand that? Like,
That's not what people
people
wanted
want
here.
quality films, but
Yeah,
alright, that's
yeah.
fine.
Speaking of quality films, Maestro.
Yeah, Maestro, huh? Maestro, look, it's not a bad movie. It's just not very good.
yeah, yeah.
It's just the most okay.
It's
like,
mid.
if you're into the character and you're into the character, well, I make
The
it sound like
actor,
he's
the
making-
person.
the person.
Yeah, the human
If
being.
you're into Bernstein, then you might get something out of it. But I think
Yeah.
for the rest of us who want to learn more about like Bernstein and what he did, and
Yeah.
the movie really doesn't hold your hand at all. It just is like, here's this little reference here, here's this little reference there,
You're right.
and I think that's
Well, so there's nothing wrong with not holding your hand and just like letting the thing come to you, right?
Yes.
But then it's like, well, what is that even in service of, right? 'Cause
Exactly.
It's like, oh, so now we don't get to know who he was as an artist or as a person. Very
Yeah.
exciting. So
Yeah.
like, what the fuck do I care? You know?
exactly.
It's like, yeah, let's not let, you know, his great works of art get in the way of him as like a human being, as like as a husband, as a father. And it's like, oh, I guess we're not going to see that either. So like, what was this about? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
And I think the movie just suffers from what a lot of biopics do.
yeah, exactly.
Keep banging this drum, which is just don't show the entire life of a
Mhm.
person. Show a moment, show how they reacted. I think it paints a better picture of a person
Yep.
than literally being like, through the ages, this is what happened.
Yeah, that's why some of the best biopics. It's like Jobs is a great biopic,
Jobs is interesting too because it kind of almost does do that,
right?
but it
centers
focuses around like
these
three moments.
exactly, and,
And-
how the moments are responding to the other ones.
Exactly, which is a very interesting take, and I think it works.
Yeah, Social Network's another good one where it's
Mhm.
not necessarily about like Mark Zuckerberg. It's about his creation and his creating the thing. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All right, Oppenheimer,
Oppenheimer, Lil Oppie. So we went to go see-
another movie about a man doing a thing. You know.
It's true, but it was
Yeah.
only one moment.
That is true. Just him making the bomb.
Yeah, I don't think there was any other. I'm trying to think if I saw like young Oppenheimer. Not really.
You see him in college.
I guess, but it's only for like a minute.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true,
like
that's
it's just
true.
a little bit of
You
hindsight.
see him making the bomb, then you see him responding to the bomb being made, and that's pretty much the whole
That's
movie.
pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah.
We went to go see this in IMAX. We wanted to go see it
We were
in
gonna see it on film.
the film version,
We was
70
gonna see it in
millimeter.
70
We are
millimeter. We paid fucking good
we
money.
live next to one of the only like 50 in the nation
Yeah.
film IMAX theaters.
Yep.
I mean, went
With
on the
real
day
true
of.
IMAX.
Yeah, the real true size, the film. We went there, got there, and they're like, "Sorry, the film fucking exploded like
The
a
film is-
bomb
Yes. Yes.
and blew up the projector, and so we have to get a new projector and we have to get a new film."
yeah.
so
Yeah.
here's
So
a
you're
ref-
not gonna see it.
So we got a refunded ticket and we watched it in the non-film
non-film
one. We saw it in IMAX still, which
still
is
saw it
still
in IMAX,
gorgeous.
Still saw it in digital, but man, I really
Ah,
wanted to
such
see
a
it on
bummer.
film. I
Such a
know.
bummer.
And now we'll probably never see it ever on film ever.
I'm sure they'll re-release it. They just did Tenet, right?
Yeah, that's
so
true. They
maybe
just did
maybe
Tenet.
they'll come back with it
Another
again.
Oppie.
Maybe
I wanna
with
see
an
it so
actual good
bad.
movie instead of Tenet. Listen to that podcast.
Yeah, I feel like other than like I really like Memento, obviously, but and obviously like Dark Knight's really good too. But I feel like Nolan's best later work is all based off like historical.
Dunkirk is really good.
Dunkirk, right? And that one and this one too. I feel like if you give him now, it's like he wants to fucking like blow your mind with like how can you tell a crazy story? But it's like no, sometimes you just need to like give him like a historical figure or moment,
Yeah.
and he can do wonders with it. you
And
know?
this one doesn't. This is interesting because unlike like Dunkirk, kind of have like a gimmick to it. Too,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
like
true.
a little
It's
bit
all
of a
about
gimmick.
time.
It's all about the time stuff,
Yeah,
which is cool. I think it worked for that movie. This doesn't really have a gimmick. It's just the movie.
it does
It's-
bounce around a bit, and it does change from color to black and white. But
I mean, I guess, but it's not really a huge gimmick. I feel
Yeah.
like that's every movie, every RC movie does sort of something like that. You know, they're like, well, we changed the aspect ratio. It's like, oh my god,
oh
It's
my
like,
god, fucking Wes
that's not
Anderson.
crazy as like this is time to like a fucking bomb and it blows off or whatever.
Mm.
Like this whole thing's in reverse. You know,
Mhm.
it's nothing crazy like that, which is surprising because the movie's just a really fucking solid ass
It's so fucking good.
film about this guy just doing like one of the craziest things imaginable,
Changing the world,
changing literally the world.
and then regretting it.
Yep.
I love that, man. I'm a big fan of a guy doing a thing and then he immediately regrets that thing he does.
Oh no,
and
too relatable, Mike.
It's so relatable. I fucking love it so much. Oh, it's the best shit. And like, oh my god, Cillian Murphy. That's how you say his name. he's so fucking good at just looking so sad.
Yes, he does.
Oh my god! Like obviously, like early in the movie when he's like a fucking playboy and he's like, you know, fucking like Florence Pugh, like he's having a grand old time, and then you see him at the end of the movie and he just looks like fucking like he looks like a skeleton, just like
He does look
haunted.
like a little skeleton
And
man.
it's like amazing.
It's funny how you can take those cheekbones from being sexy to being haunting.
Yes.
At the same movie.
Oh, he's so good.
He's
And,
really good in it.
yeah, he's amazing.
Glad
Everyone's
he stuck around
amazing.
for all the Scarecrow roles.
I
to
know,
get to this.
seriously, he finally got something, and he was in Inception too.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, Florence Pugh's really good. Emily Blunt was in it, right?
Emily Blunt's in it. She's really
She's really
good.
good.
Question. Emily Blunt's in this movie, right? She is in the movie.
No, she's really good in it. I just couldn't remember if it. I get her mixed up with someone else. So I just
Oh,
want to
okay.
make sure I got the right person.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No, she's in the movie. It's the wife. She's very
Robert
good.
Downey Jr.'s in it.
He's really good.
Tried to redeem himself from Iron Man.
He's doing it. He's doing a pretty good job. Fucking everyone's in this movie. Fucking like one of the Safdie brothers in this fucking movie. Like Josh Peck from Drake and Josh is in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that fucking presses the button that
Yep.
like drops the bomb. Like every motherfucker shows up for this,
Yeah.
and they all do a really good job.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm so impressed by with this movie. Is like it's a big. We're obviously we should talk about Killers of the Flower Moon after this because it's kind of similar. Where it's like it's a big movie that has to do a lot and introduce a lot of characters, a lot of history.
It's very long.
Very long, but like it does a good job, and so does Killers, I think, of like really telling this really big complex story in a way that it's centered around how it affects just like this one guy, you know? Like how is it affecting Oppenheimer?
Yep.
How does this affect poor Oppie, you know?
Poor little Oppie. and
Poor
his
little
psyche.
Oppie.
Not the rest of us who all have to live in this world. that
Or,
he
you know,
created.
the people that the bomb dropped on or anything.
Yep.
It's all about Oppie, you
Yep.
know? It's all about how it affects this poor guy. How does he sleep at night? Man, I fucking love this movie a lot. It is really fucking good.
Yeah, it was a really good one. I really liked it. I
Yeah.
have been wanting to watch it again recently.
Me
but
too.
I haven't.
I
gotten
I
around
will
to it.
say though, for pacing, I do feel like it sort of starts to like run. I feel like the pacing is kind of crappy, but like near the end a little bit.
Really, because I felt like in the middle, kind of was like.
Maybe in the middle. There's some pacing.
Yeah,
issues.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a little long. Could have been trimmed a little bit, but
Yeah.
I also think staying in that moment and seeing his mindset's also kind of important
That's
too.
true. I think that's honestly one of the other problems. I feel like there's not enough moments in the movie of just like silence. The movie's like wall to wall
That movie
music,
moves, man.
Yeah, it's.
That movie
I just
moves.
want to see. Although the moments where it does slow down, like
It's
the
great,
moments.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was one moment like near the end, when the bomb drops.
Mhm.
No spoilers that a bomb drops,
I know,
but
it's
when the
crazy.
bomb drops,
There's a moment in the theater where a guy just went, "Holy shit!"
yeah, that's right.
Just-
That's right. Yeah,
Because it was dead silent. This guy goes, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "This is why I watched this in a movie theater."
That shit fucking rocked.
To be fair, it was very impressive on a big screen.
It was. That movie rocks. I liked Oppenheimer a lot. Shall we talk about Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah, speaking of another movie that's a real banger. This is one of those movies that I'm like, I want to watch again for sure.
Same. I still need to see the end. You need to see the
This is
beginning.
the beginning.
Yeah. Honeybees, who was on a couple episodes ago, a few episodes ago, quite a while ago, they were telling me that there was something that we missed about the movie, obviously because of the way that the movie split up, but something that I found really interesting. So there's a moment where what's her name? Maggie, the lady, the main lady,
Yeah.
right? She gets pregnant,
Uh-huh.
right? And she's sick, but she gets pregnant.
Okay.
And then I mentioned, it was in my half of the movie, I mentioned that like Robert De Niro was really upset because she might die in her pregnancy, you know, and that would affect her dying before their other sisters.
Uh-huh.
But what I got wrong was he wasn't upset that she was pregnant because she might die prematurely. He was upset because if she's pregnant, that's another person they're going to have to kill in order to get to the money.
Oh.
They're like, we now have to kill that child. Which is like way fucking darker than I
Wait, but
thought.
doesn't she already have kids?
Yeah, but he was fine with that. He just didn't want to kill. It was like, now we have to kill another kid too. You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
Movie's good.
Yeah, a real grim shit.
Oh, I loved it.
Grim shit, but like, I don't know. There's something about the way the vibe, like, Zone of Interest is there to be like, you're gonna feel fucking bad. You're gonna feel weird. You're gonna feel awkward this whole time.
Yeah.
Scorsese does like a weird dance of like, this is the most like pretty horrific stuff that people are inflicting upon these other people.
Yeah.
And it kind of was like, it makes it kind of a fun watch.
That's
in a
what
weird
Scorsese
way.
does.
It's so wild.
But it's what I love about this movie because it's like, what Scorsese's like, what, fucking like 90 years old?
Yeah, he's
and he's
pretty old.
still re-examining the types of movies he makes. Because
Yeah.
like this is, like I said in the podcast, this is like a gangster movie. Like it's a
is.
movie following around villains
people doing crime.
doing crime and getting away with it. And it makes it look like, it makes it in moments look fun.
But it also shows the victims a lot more in this. It
Exactly.
highlights them and it actually like goes from their perspective. And I think that is a re-examination of kind of the movies he makes, right?
It would, yes, 100%. And it would be it would be insulting for this white guy to go like, I am going to represent the Osage Nation,
and only show Robert De Niro,
right? So it's like obviously he's gonna focus it on like the villains because like he relates to them because he's a white guy, But it's like I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. It's up there with Oppenheimer and Zone of Interest as far as just like fucking bad vibe films that I
good bad vibes.
Yeah,
but this thing is this is a movie I want to watch. Well, I don't really want to rewatch Zone of Interest,
which is it's funny because it's much shorter. But
yeah. All right, give me those 3 hours. I want to see what my dumbass Leonardo DiCaprio's up to.
It's because the fucking music and fucking the Killers of Flower Moon is goddamn awesome.
Well, I watched like part of the beginning again because I was editing sound for the podcast. Like, this is really a movie. This fucking it sets you in, man. Yeah,
it's fucking awesome. All right, next movie, Poor Things. We saw this one together as well.
We did see this one together. We saw this on New Year's
with our we did see it on New Year's with our partners. Fucking awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
I really liked it. Liked how it looked.
I feel like I've cooled on it a little bit though.
Oh really?
Over time, like I still like it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but in the end, I'm kind of just like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. All these other movies I'm like thinking about and like going through my head. Poor Things I kind of forgot I watched.
Wow.
Which is weird. Like Holdovers, I also mentioned I do remember that more.
Right.
Though. Like I was thinking about Holdovers as like a different style of movie. Like, but Poor Things, no. I mean, I liked it. I think it's a beautiful movie. I love the way it looks. I love the set design is incredible.
The
costume's amazing.
Yeah.
But story-wise, I'm just kind of like,
there's not much to like.
No.
It's really just like following this person, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not really a drive. Like because all it is just self-discovery the entire film. You know what I mean? Which if you're down for that, like this is one of my wife's like favorite movies of the year. This is one of her favorites, and it's just because you just follow this person, and it's like you see her like failing, and you see her being misled, and you see her being manipulated and lied, and then at the end of the movie, it somehow works out. Somehow she winds up finding people that like.
Fucking spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to spoil exactly how it works out, but things work out, in her favor. And it's like nice to see that kind of thing. It's like she fought and she learned and she wound up like it wound up working out for her, and that's really good, And it's not like she had to change the world in order to do it, but things worked out. And so I can see that. And but yeah, as far as like plot wise, there's not really like a driving force. I
just feel like so many of the other movies we've seen this year, like there's just so much more to chew on. There's so much more to think about. So much more to like think about character motivations and what would I do in this situation? Well, this movie's like, it's so bizarre, which I love. It's so bizarre, like I can't really relate to it though. In some ways.
That's fair. That's fair.
The situation's so absurd, and I think it's a really fun world.
Yeah,
and
the characters are absurd too.
The characters are absurd. The situations are absurd. The world is absurd.
Yeah.
In a great way. I love watching
in a fun
it. Like
way.
it's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
But then it's just kind of over. It kind of feels like in a weird way, like a popcorn flick. Like I'm like, this is such a feast for the eyes, a feast for the senses.
Yeah.
And it just is just like a fun kind of like self-discovery story that it just at the end is like not something I think about or leave with. Which I think is what was it? American Fiction said that you gotta have a real what is it? You have to think about.
I don't know. I didn't see this.
Art is decided by like how much it impacts you later on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And this one just didn't do that for you. Didn't really leave you with much.
No.
Yeah.
But I still like it. I still think it's a good movie.
Music's really good too.
I don't remember the music, to be honest. I don't remember the
music. All right. Well, talking about a movie that leaves you with stuff to chew on, Anatomy of a Fall. You just saw this very recently.
We did just watch it. This is the movie I was like, I got to finish this one up so I could talk about it.
Yep.
For this podcast. I liked it quite a bit.
It's really good.
I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. I really liked it a lot. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of like a mystery, like Hitchcockian courtroom drama. There is aspects of that, but really it's not really like a mystery as much as it's more like an examination of how like
the justice system works.
But how like a private life can be put into public and be re-examined by people who are not there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like obviously, I think this gives shades of like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial sort of situation where it's like who's a victim, who isn't, who can you believe, who can't you believe? The woman is hysterical, the man is hysterically funny. It's like there is definitely a gendered coded way that this movie is like approaching the idea of not just the justice system but truth in itself. Like I think people are quick to judge women, are quick to blame women and quick to like come to the defense of men, especially if, you know, in this case, this is not a spoiler, he dies, you know, so he's willing to like, you know, feed this narrative of this person being like not a bad guy, but maybe just misunderstood. Yeah.
I think it's really good. I think it also drew me in because I am not a huge fan of courtroom type dramas usually. I find like Law and Order quite boring. I want the chaos and fun is what I'm looking for.
Of a French courtroom.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So seeing the difference maybe that kept me interested is seeing how different a French courtroom operates compared to like the standard American justice system.
Yeah.
And obviously this is one example of it. Like obviously
who knows even how realistic it is too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was still entertained the whole time because it doesn't just play with the fact that like who done it. It doesn't it maybe plays with more of the fact of like why.
Yeah.
And
why are we here?
And I think that's a core point of the movie is that we always look at like how it was done when it should be looking at why it was done. If anything was done.
Right, exactly.
Etc. Which I think is a fascinating way to look at crime or any sort of like tragic event or just like you're just have this like horrible ass accident happen to your family and then you have to spend over a year in court just trying to say I didn't kill this person.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, even if depending on whatever you think the person did or not,
right?
It's still like all of that is just so traumatizing and it changes. You know, it pulls apart a family.
Yeah.
And changes their dynamic regardless of whatever happened. Like, and it already was going to change the dynamic because you just had a horrible tragedy happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone was able to witness it too.
Yeah.
You know, like she has a son. The son's there to see it. You know, it's like this is already something you have to deal with. And I'm sure when at the beginning of the movie, none of this is a spoiler, when, you know, the husband winds up dead and everyone runs up to the body and is like looking at the body, the last thing she was suspected is like, I'm going to have to prove in court that I didn't do this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. I really liked it.
It's really, really good. Acting in it is fantastic. The main actor in the movie, she's also in Zone of Interest as the wife. She's so fucking good in both of them. Like, oh my God.
She has a great dog in both of them.
She has a great dog in both of them too. I didn't even think about that.
I gotta say, the one in this movie is a little bit better because it's not Nazi.
That's a very good point. Yeah, there's one scene, I don't think we talked about it, but there's one scene near the end of the movie with the dog. I'm like, how the fuck did they do that?
Oh yeah, the dog acting.
The dog acting in this movie.
No one talks about how good the dog acting is. Well, people have been talking about
People have been talking obsessively about how good
the dog acting is. Like,
dog acting is good. Son, he's incredible too.
He's really good. But let's go back to that dog.
That dog is fantastic.
They need to create a spot for the dog acting because like number one dog.
Acting.
I was just like, how did they get the dog to do this? Like,
yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, that ending scene, I was like, did they give it? I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I'm just like, how did they do that? Like,
apparently, it can just do that.
Really?
Apparently, it was just trained to do
really?
That. It is a border collie. Border collie is extremely smart, so they can just do. You can probably train them. To
it's been kind of cute because this dog's also just like on the is along with them with like the Oscars and shit. Like you know, this dog's going like on the carpets.
Is it?
Yes,
that's amazing.
It's going on the carpet.
It seems like the most trained.
And usually
dog
dogs
ever.
aren't allowed on the carpet.
No.
Yeah, you have to clean it up. This dog is going on the carpet.
It's very true.
Yeah, it's very cute. So yeah, Niagara Falls really good.
It's a good movie.
And then the last one's Past Lives, which you already talked about.
Past Lives.
Beautiful film. Beautiful film.
That's a movie that's another movie I really want to watch again. Like,
yeah. I want to watch it again too.
It's so good. It's so good. It's got such a good vibe to it. It's such a quiet, understated movie. And I think we're talking about kind of, in my mind, this is like the polar opposite of Poor Things. Because Poor Things is a visual spectacle. There's nothing really that crazy good looking in this movie. Like there's some good, nice shots.
Yeah, it's all shot on film. And stuff,
but like it's such a quiet, intimate movie about like history and the past and relationships. And
what it means to care about somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so understated and so beautiful that it's just like, this is just a movie that's working with just both on terms of like just pure acting and pure writing. Like there's not much else here that you're going with, but it's so strong in those elements.
Yeah.
That I can't help to be like, this is just a really good one.
I could also see a movie because like it is really well shot, but I can see this movie being overshot, right? Where it's like they put too much effort in, not too much effort, but like too much into the frame. Yeah. The composition.
But it wouldn't feel grounded, right?
No, like it's just like that restraint honestly goes to show the level of artistry the movie actually like did because like so much of this movie is like long takes. You know, they lock the camera off, they barely move it. You know, and if they do move it, it's a very subtle, like, you know, pan or turn or track or whatever. It's just really great. It's like that's solid fucking filmmaking right there. You don't need it to be, you know, super loud and showy, you know, because that doesn't work with the picture.
The loudest and showiest thing is that amazing old Skype interface.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, that was the one thing that really made it.
That really blew me away, man.
Yeah,
let me tell you, there's some detail in this movie. Really good.
So should we start ranking them.
Sure.
This is gonna be really fucking hard. I feel like last year it was really easy to put like Elvis and shit and like Top Gun.
Oh
all
yeah,
that
you think
shit.
so?
Yeah, this one's gonna be tough because like I mean I want to put. It's gonna be hard. I mean, the bottom two is gonna be hard because it's a race to the bottom between, for me, Maestro and American Fiction.
Well, I'm gonna put. I mean, I think I disagree with you a little bit more on there. So I would probably put
Maestro below American Fiction.
Yeah.
All right.
To be fair, that's my thought.
That's fair. On my personal ranking, I would put American Fiction maybe below Maestro.
Really? Why would you do that?
Because I like the makeup in Maestro.
So that's what pushed you over.
That's what it is. I just really like the makeup, and I think the direction in Maestro
there's some really good shots.
better.
There's some beautiful shots in that.
Yeah,
I definitely cannot say the same about American Fiction. I just think American Fiction is more fun to watch.
That's
but
fair. That's
I
fair.
don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's why, you know what? Tied for last. How about that?
I think that's very fair.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm trying to
cool.
get I'm trying to get the list out
It's
here.
all good, man.
Just,
Don't worry about
If
it.
I was a good producer, like these people, I'm deleting their names from right now.
We need
if I
to-
was a good producer, I would have this all ready to go and set up.
We need to get like an intern or something to help us out with
I
this
should
stuff.
get an intern.
Yeah, let's get
so
an
we can have
intern.
someone else who isn't paid on this podcast. Then one feels lonely, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. People like to hear us talk about movies.
Steven Spielberg, producer on on Maestro.
He was originally going to direct it. Him and Scorsese were both in line to direct, and then they were like, you know what? We
They
don't
saw
wanna
the
do
script and they're
that.
like, you know what? We're good.
They're
There's
like,
actually not a lot here.
let's
huh?
give it to to
Why
Cooper.
don't you do it yourself? Huh?
Yeah,
If you're
exactly.
so adamant about
He's
it.
like- and then he heard, "Do it yourself. I'll do everything myself."
Okay, so for our list, I'm gonna put Maestro at the bottom,
And American Fiction also
American
at the
Fiction
bottom.
also at the bottom. I'm fine with that.
All right, cool. All right, now we have a big jump to the rest of the
Ooh.
movies.
Yeah, we kind of
I
do.
think you're gonna put Poor Things next, right? That's what it's sounding like to me. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I'm
I
looking at we got
know.
Anatomy of the Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things,
I know. This is a
Zone
tough
of Interest.
one.
I feel like Poor Things is kind of at the bottom of this.
That's fair. I was gonna put Barbie.
I was gonna put Barbie right above it.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
We're fucking mixing it up, man. This is
Just
fun.
a little bit. Pretty close though.
I'm loving this. Yeah, I'd put Poor Things in Barbie. I'd flip them, but that's totally fine.
Are you okay with me?
Dude, that's all good, man. We're good.
I think
Wait. Okay, we should actually start making decisions here because we can't have two lists. So we need to.
I'm making a decision. I'm putting it down here.
No. But we need to come to an agreement here where it's like either American Fiction goes last or Poor Things goes above Barbie. We need to make that sort of decision.
Why do we have to make it even like that? Can't we just have it my way?
You fucking asshole.
Why can't we just have my way? I don't get it. Yeah, Maestro, American Fiction, Poor Things, and Barbie. Here's the thing. Here's my argument for Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Barbie actually is making an impact on the world, and people are watching it and feeling like they're connecting. I don't think any motherfucker watched Poor Things and is like, oh man, that's me, dog. I don't know if they feel it as much, you know?
My wife did.
That's fair. That's fair, but I also think she felt the same about Barbie.
She might be in the minority.
We're
Possibly.
talking about someone who isn't here, though, Mike.
That's true. I'm not going
I'm
to speak
talking
for her.
about the entire population.
Barbie
of the
did
world.
win a
Barbie also-
participation trophy at the Golden Globes.
Exactly. Barbie also has not won a lot of things.
That's true.
So-
So the one thing it should win is fourth place in our arbitrary list.
Yep.
Or fourth last
Listen,
place.
if there's one thing I could give it is the honorary
Mid-tier.
Yeah, honorary mid-tier of the Best Picture movies.
All right, fine. Let's put it there. The one thing I'll say about Barbie to put above Poor Things, I will say, is Barbie is co-written and directed by a woman. Poor Things was not.
Yeah.
Poor Things was written and directed by men. So if we want to talk about
There
a
you
movie
go.
centered around a woman,
There you
we would
go.
have to put Barbie above it.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, baby.
It's totally fine.
There you go.
All right.
I win my argument. That's why I win by arguing. Mike.
Yeah,
I don't win by
that's right.
conceding.
I made the argument for you.
I made an argument for that, and then you also were like, "Well, actually, I thought about it a little bit."
All right. So now comes the hard part.
Ugh, yeah, yikes.
Oppenheimer, Zone of Interest. I mean, okay, we have to put Holdovers next, right? I love Holdovers,
Really?
but I think
I was gonna put
so.
it higher.
Sure, you didn't even like it that much either.
I liked it a lot. What are you talking about?
You said it was just okay. You said it was.
I never said it was
Not
just
that
okay.
You said it was just okay, but you said you didn't love it as much as I did. I guess is what I was saying. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Maybe
I must be mistaken.
I don't remember that.
That's fine,
I really
that's
liked
fine.
it a lot.
All right, good. I liked it a lot too. Wait, what do you want to put below Holdovers? Like Anatomy of a Fall or Past Lives?
I'm thinking Oppenheimer or Anatomy of a Fall. Honestly,
Really?
yeah.
I
think you like Oppenheimer more than I did.
I loved Oppenheimer. Yeah. So okay, I'm willing to put Anatomy of a Fall below Holdovers.
Okay.
I loved Anatomy of a Fall, but I'm
I
willing
liked
to
it
put
too.
Holdovers above Anatomy of a Fall. But I want to put Oppenheimer above Holdovers. I think that Oppenheimer just did a bigger deal. I think it just made a bigger impact.
Stop using my argument against me.
I think more people
How dare
watched
you.
Oppenheimer. People don't even hear about Holdovers.
That's not what I meant. They're going for two different things. Mike.
Come on. I think Oppenheimer is a better film than Holdovers. I think Holdovers is very solid. I think
How
it's
many times
really
you watch
good.
Holdovers?
I saw it like 5 times.
How many times you watch Oppenheimer?
One, but Oppenheimer is a better film. It's a better movie.
Why don't you watch it more then?
Because Holdovers is a much easier film to watch.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
One is
okay.
I've gone to McDonald's way more than I've gone to any other a really good
Okay, there's a
diner.
cost thing involved. These both cost the same amount of money. It's like saying I eat baby carrots as opposed to big carrots, you know? Big carrots are hard to eat.
I eat baby carrots instead of big carrots.
Baby carrots are all cut up. They're easy to eat.
Easier to
They're the
eat.
same. They're doing the
I'm
same
not gonna
thing.
choke on those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm getting existentials. I'm shoving this carrot down my throat. What have we done as a society,
Yeah.
this earth?
Times have changed. I'm eating a big carrot. Not even chewing on it. Come on. I think Holdovers is a great film. As somebody who loves it, I love it. But like, man, Oppenheimer is just like, it's doing so fucking much. It's doing it so well. Like, and it tells such a big story. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, whatever. I mean,
Are you giving up? Because I was gonna concede, but you sound like you're
go
gonna
ahead and
give up.
concede that.
If you feel that passionate about it, I'm okay with it.
All right,
I
cool.
liked Holdovers a lot.
I loved it.
think
I loved it.
I'm
I
probably
loved
gonna
it.
watch it more. You know,
Okay,
I'm gonna
all right.
watch
You
it more.
should. You should watch it more.
I'm gonna watch it more. I'm gonna watch those 3 great, amazing actors work.
Yeah, that's right. Let him cook.
Let them cook.
So
All
then
right.
Oppenheimer. So now we've got Zone of Interest, and Past Lives,
Past Lives
and Killers of the Flower Moon. All right. So I kind of want to do it. Past Lives, Zone of Interest, Killers of the Flower Moon. That's what I'm feeling.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Right? Okay. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Feels weird putting Killers of the Flower Moon at the top. I don't know why.
Wait, it doesn't feel fair?
It feels weird.
Why?
I don't know.
This is a director at the top of his game, at the top of his craft.
He's
in his
always been at the
90s.
top of his game.
But he's improving. Like the last movie you saw of his was like The Irishman, which was a good movie, but like,
That's
come
true. This
on,
is
like
better than
this
Irishman.
this is a marketed improvement, and it's like this is a way harder film to kind of make. Like this is a movie about like racism and history and and I don't know, man. Like I just feel like Killers of Flower Moon is an absolute like fucking, and it's like good and it's fun. Like it's just a fun movie to watch, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's honestly, like Zone of Interest is close. Zone of Interest is
Zone of
very
Interest
close,
is, like,
but
close. What about put the Holdovers at the top? Put the Holdovers just
fucking
right
I
at the
don't
top.
care, man. Whatever, then. I mean, yeah, if Holdovers,
Oh, so I'm just gonna make the whole list.
Holdovers is all the way down.
All right.
Holdovers
Okay.
all the way down.
Maestro at the top. Let's just get crazy.
Fuck it, man. Maestro's the best movie ever. I love Maestro.
All right.
No, I think it's Past Lives, Zone of Interest, and then Killers at the very
All
top.
right. So here we go. Top of the movie. Start top, going to the bottom.
All right.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Hell yeah.
The Zone of Interest.
Sweet.
Past Lives.
Nice.
Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
The Holdovers.
Mhm.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Mhm.
Barbie.
Mhm.
Poor Things.
Mm-hmm.
American Fiction. And Maestro.
And Maestro.
Man, you are right. Like American Fiction and Maestro just are like their
They're
own.
just-
They're just there.
It's like you see like online rankings and it's just like S tier and then like F tier. It's like those are like in the C or D tier. There's none in the B, and everything is in like A.
Yeah,
and
man,
S.
we should do that'd be more fun to do like a tier list maybe next time.
Yeah, but that's visual, right?
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
You can still say like this
That's
is an A tier,
true.
B tier,
That's true.
but yeah, I think that's good.
Because like there is a like obvious difference in quality. I feel like between those two movies and the rest.
Yeah, like
of them.
these. I feel like in terms of Oscar movies, I feel like both of those are kind of like D tier.
Yeah.
And then
Wow,
the-
D tier even.
I mean, in terms of Oscar movies.
Oh,
in
I
terms
see
of
what you're
movies, I
saying.
think they're both probably like C tier. Maybe
Yeah,
higher.
yeah. I gave it a C or B. Yeah. yeah.
But in terms of like Oscar movies, I think it's that. And then like Poor Things and Barbies maybe like in the B.
Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall maybe is like A. And the rest of these are A, other than A plus or something. You know.
Yeah. Holdovers is S. It's triple S.
Holdovers is like, hold on. Let's talk about Holdovers. It's so good. That's a good movie.
I'm honestly surprised how high Past Lives was because it's the little quiet movie that could, man.
It's so fucking good though.
It really
like,
is.
I don't know, man. That's a movie I keep thinking about and keep being like, I want to see the rest of that. I just want to
So
like live in
fucking
that
good.
like vibe.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. That is the oldest movie on this list.
Oldest?
I think it came out before Barbie, didn't it?
Oh, did
Am I
it?
right?
I think you might be right. Yeah.
Past release.
That would be similar to like
date.
with what was it?
Yeah, it came out in the January 21st.
Fuck off. At the beginning of the year?
That's what it says.
That's
Released
crazy.
theatrically January 21st, and it made it all the way here.
That's
Is
like
crazy.
That's like what Everything Everywhere All at Once did, where that came
Yeah.
out in like January, February, and it just like maintained this level of energy,
Exactly.
which it's deserved. Like this
Yeah.
movie fucking rocks. So.
Like this is the one that like those are the ones you got to look out for.
That's
right?
true,
Those
that's true.
those ones that the Academy somehow remembers because
Yeah.
they're fucking stupid. So you got to wait for the ones that keep engross them, and they're like, oh man, I got to remember this. They write it down in a little notebook or whatever. One, and then they forget where the notebook is, and they find it later when it comes to time.
It is nice. Like, remember, like, I think last year with like Women Talking, we were just like, how the fuck are we gonna watch this movie? Like, I didn't even know this movie was out. Or like, Drive My Car the year before, where it's like, what movie is this? I hadn't even heard of this. Like, most of these movies are movies I was either anticipating, had already seen, or like knew about. You know,
I don't know, but Maestro's the only one I didn't know about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a Netflix
So-
movie too. That was a pretty,
I don't
pretty
have
big.
Netflix, so I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. Neither do I.
They can
Yeah.
put that up. Wasn't Killers of the Flower Moon also a Netflix movie?
No, that's an Apple TV movie.
Oh, it was Apple TV. Really?
it's
I thought
Apple
it was
TV.
Netflix. Oh
Yeah.
man, they goofed up because they got The Irishman.
Yeah, that's right. They
And
had
then
Irishman.
Scorsese's like,
And
I want to go to
Scors-
Apple TV over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hang out with the morning show.
Ethan's doing a little waddle to try to like
We're gonna
represent
hang out with Godzilla.
Scorsese. I don't think he knows what
The
Scorsese.
Monarch fucking show with the Godzilla and the Monarch. I think Scorsese waddles around. I haven't seen him walk around.
Yeah, he's a short guy. He's a short
He's a
guy.
little short guy.
So what do you think's gonna win though? Like it sounds like we
Ooh.
both want Killers of the Flower Moon to win, but
I kind of feel like
I
Oppenheimer's
think
gonna
Oppenheimer's
win,
gonna
right?
win. I think that's a solid.
I think it's a
choice.
safe choice. A lot of
Yeah.
people seen it. It makes the Oscars seem relevant. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. It's not. I wouldn't be unhappy if it won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be
I
it.
think it is. Yeah, I think it's like no doubt it's gonna be that one. But
Kind of want Zone of Interest to win.
me too.
But
I think
that'd
it's
be-
definitely gonna
Actually,
win. Best
no.
Sound.
I want Past Lives to win. I think that'd be
Wow.
that'd be fucking crazy,
That would
wouldn't
be
it?
crazy.
That'd be
no. You know what I
crazy.
want to win? Holdovers.
Oh,
Fucking Holdovers to win.
dude,
How great would that
let's
be?
go.
Comfy vibes, 2024,
Oh
baby.
yeah, comfy vibes. Go
Yeah.
get depressed in the snow.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go get a little sad.
Two guys just looking at each other, giving each other a handshake,
Yep.
crying in each other's
and you're like,
eyes.
damn, the handshake means so fucking much.
You want a fucking hug, but they can't because they're men.
They didn't. It's too much societal norms.
So fucking good.
Yeah,
Great
Well,
movie. Oh, there you go, guys. Enjoy the Oscars. Will we be right? Will we be wrong? We're gonna be right.
You're gonna find out.
We'll have to find out. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.